Angel was fantastic. I saw it a couple hours ago and I loved it. Were you aware of this story at all?
Was I aware of this story? Um, I was slightly, I mean, like just in the back of my mind kind of stuff until I was sent a manuscript and then started doing research.
How
And
long?
then the research was great. I mean, the research was, I got to talk to a lot of historians, England, Israel, um, and everybody had different points of view, which was great. So there was the whole mystery of what was really not known about this character, and then finding a way to make the story cathartic and kind of bigger even than one person.
What did you learn in the process of researching your story?
The complexities of the battles between Israel and Egypt and their reliance on the superpowers and how the superpowers would put limitations on both countries and they were proxies for them. Um, a character that has a tiny, tiny role in this, and it's not really revealed his the deeper levels of what he was doing is Nasser, because he's a bit of an antagonist for our hero, or he is an antagonist for our hero. But Nasser, there's some great speeches that nobody knows about where he's in front of an audience and he's wearing a suit and tie, and he would be speaking to the audience and he'd say, these people, they come up to me with beards and they say, we got to become religious, and they want the women to wear the hijab. And the audience yells out, the men in the audience yell out, let them wear it. And nobody understands the evolution of the Muslim culture.
I have to say, great job in The Angel. And were you aware of this story before joining this production?
No, I wasn't. I was totally naive to it, and that was a huge reason I did it. When I read the script, I thought it was such a fascinating story, so I started to delve into it, and I got fantastic opportunity to work with genuine agents of Mossad and spent about 2 weeks with them and got some fantastic tips and tricks to move through this performance. So yeah, everything felt very authentic, but the story really was just so fascinating. So I gained some weight, I grew a mustache. I tried to just, change the person I am to fit more the types of people that we were trying to do. And Danny's my code name, but Alex is a real person,
So when you talk to these agents, the Mossad, something can you share with the viewers that you learned after you did your own research? Like what kind of lifestyle did they lead every day?
Well, their lifestyle is very, very difficult. To go into that, so we'll be here until the movie starts. But what I learned from them was just the observation. We spent so much time on observations of different things, the gait of people, the way they walk. Actually, a lot of things you do as an actor to try and adjust and become different characters. So that's the thing that resonated the most with me. That's the thing where I was constantly, after the movie, looking and watching. I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. It was it's almost addictive. It's a fascinating thing to be taught.
My favorite scene in the film was the last scene of the film between your character and Marwan's character. Do you remember that scene at the very end when two guys came and chat in London?
I remember that scene very well because that was 2 hours of someone poking my face with tiny hairs, then cutting it to give me the beard. So I had a beard when I turned up. They wanted me to trim it down. So it's always that way. You turn up with the right thing, you trim it down, and they're like, oh, we like the beard. It's like, I can't grow a beard tomorrow. But so it was a very sticky face. But yeah, it was a very touching scene. I truly enjoyed it. In fact, there was a version that Ariel showed me, the director, Ariel Volman showed me, and it wasn't in there. And I was like, I really missed that scene, actually. I really, truly miss it. So I'm glad it's a favorite of yours. I really liked it.
I saw this film. I loved it. I have to ask you, I understand that you did an intense research to accurately tell the story. Why was it so important to get the story right?
Well, there's a lot of sensitivity in a story like that. It tells a story of an Egyptian young man that has aristocratic family orientation, and he's going across the line and becoming a spy. Now, the question whether he's going to become a double agent or not, that is a very open wound between the two countries. So it's complicated story to tell, and especially when there are so many different opinions. But I think the main reason for me to be a part of something like that is that it's really sending the message of peace.
I thought Marwan did such a great job. How did you find him?
Well, I know Marwan from a few movies. I saw a movie that he did back in Cannes called Wolf, and then I saw him in The Promise. I think he's incredible talent, and I'm very excited for him to. It's his first American lead role, leading man. So, yeah, I hope the world will hear about him. And now Aladdin, and so yeah, he's playing Jafar. So, yeah, it's a good time.
I thought that you did a really fantastic job in telling a complicated story. So, how difficult is that when you have so many details to communicate your audience?
Well, you gotta you gotta understand that doing any period movies require a lot of attention, and it's more attention than just normal filmmaking. So it's not the first time I'm dealing with that period, but I I feel that it's always challenging, to go 50 years backwards and make sure that our streets and our cars and our fashion and our dialect, it's all different. And so yeah, so this is definitely a time that I mean, it's definitely a challenge that I found. It's actually a lot of fun, but it's challenging.
What was the most difficult part for you as a filmmaker during the making of The Angel? Like, which part of this film was most challenging to you?
Most challenging is just like to keep a story that is, it's not a lifetime story, but it's spread over 5 or 6 years. That you got to do it in such a compact story, and yeah, but I think now in every feature films, I mean, now when we have TV and there's so many episodical that you can go and just pay attention to one little anecdote in somebody's life. When you're doing a movie, you got to move fast, fast, fast. I mean, you got to really keep the attention, and you got to tell a lot of stories. So yeah, it's always challenging to tell a period piece, and especially when they spread over time.
Great job in portraying the actress of Diana Ellis.
Yes.
Yes. Can you talk about her a little bit and what got you interested in playing this role?
What got me interested in, firstly, it was a completely different type of role than I've done before. She's very fun, and I've always played quite serious roles. So I wanted to try my hand at that. And also, the way Ariel presented her, she wasn't just a one-dimensional blonde, as it might appear. There's something, she's complex and a bit strange herself, and I like the way she gets roped into this spy story and helps and acts as a sort of decoy. I just thought it was fun.
Was her character true or was that fictitious?
Vaguely, apparently there were rumors that there was an actress who was involved with him, but we don't know that 100% true. So she was sort of the real actress, which it was loosely based on, was essentially, we used her as a muse as opposed to me portraying this person, because it didn't quite, we weren't sure, so it would have been inaccurate.
I think you were perfectly cast for this role. How did they find you?
The director, he sent me a letter, and there was a young, talented agent that texted me.
In Ashraf becoming a spy, what were his true motivations, do you think?
Well, I think it's a bit more complicated than that. I don't necessarily think that he's a spy. I just think of him to be a very strategic, ambitious young man who wanted to do good, and who was playing a high risk chess game. So I think that's how I look at him. I think a spy would be a bit too simple for me to explain his character or his motivations.
Do you see him as a heroic figure?
Oh, definitely, yeah. One can only imagine how much you would have to sacrifice to do what he did, and I think it's very important to point out that it's. The elements that make a film exciting, I think, are in this film, and that is when a character or an individual gets stuck in between multiple forces, and So therefore, I think this is an interesting.